Hi everybody, it's me, Mr. B, and I'm very excited to do a brand new how to draw video with you today. This one is going to be how to draw castles. And castles are one of my favorite things to draw. We're going to be using lots of simple shapes to create a very detailed castle. And so all you really need to do is get yourself a piece of paper, a pencil, and a nice workspace. So gather your materials and let's get started. All right. So, like I said, all you're going to need is a piece of paper and a pencil. And we're going to begin our castles with some really simple shapes. And then as we build the castles up, we can start adding more details. But the first thing you're going to do is start with a rectangle. And remember that a rectangle has two long sides and two short sides. And it does not have to be perfect. It can just be the best rectangle that you can make. Once you have a rectangle, this is going to be kind of the front of our castle. So then we can think about adding the front door to our castle. And anytime that I make castles, I like to make the front door have a big arch, kind of like a drawbridge door. And we can add a moat around our castle later. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add two towers on the side. And I'm going to do one over here. And I'm going to do these by creating another set of rectangles. So one over here and one over here. If you want them to be the same height, just make sure that you're looking at both sides to make sure that they're about the same height. So now we've already created kind of the front of our castle, but we're going to keep adding more and more details, like I said, using very simple shapes. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to build my castle towers up a little bit more. And anytime I make these towers, I like to add two lines going outwards at an angle, and then I'll connect them. I'll do that on both sides. And then I'll do another smaller rectangle on top of those shapes. It's kind of like a trapezoid. And then I'm going to make triangles as the tower peaks, like the roof of these towers. And so as you can see, just by adding those really simple shapes and connecting them, I've created these really interesting looking towers. I want to make sure that anyone who's in this tower can see outwards. So I'm gonna put some lines in this smaller rectangle area. And you can imagine that those are kind of like windows, or maybe there's columns. And you can even color inside every other space so that it looks like there are these tall columns. And then the darker area is maybe where the watch person would be watching in their watchtower. So I'm going to keep adding more and more details, but one thing that most castles have are turrets. And turrets are these things, I wish I had a better term, but I'm just going to say things, these structures that are at the top of all the walls. And I believe that they were used for people to look out of as well. And so one way to draw a turret, because they can be kind of hard to draw, is I started by making a dotted line. I kind of made all these little lines that were spaced apart about pretty evenly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and connect them with a U. So they're all getting connected with the letter U. And that's going to create those turrets at the top of my castle wall. These turret things. Now, I'm going to continue to add more buildings to my castle. So a way to do that is just keep building upwards with rectangles. And then, let's see, I'm gonna make this one have a couple layers, kind of like a cake. So 3 rectangles, they're getting smaller and smaller. And then maybe on top of this one, I can put another tower. And I can put more windows, but these are gonna be smaller because it's further away. I can also think about adding some bigger windows. I'm gonna make a big giant window. It kind of looks like a wheel, very fancy. Maybe this is where the king or the queen or the princess lives. And down here, let's see, what can I do with this? One thing I also like to do when I make my castles is I like to add stairs that are going to be on the outside so you can see where the people would have to climb up the stairs. So one way to do stairs, if I want to make it that there's a staircase going up to this tower, I can go over, down, over, down, over, down, over, down, over, down. And you can imagine that this is a little stairway and maybe there's a little door right there that you have to enter. That's my door at the top of the stairs. And maybe there's another set of stairs that go down this way. So same thing, down, over, 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 down, over. And then let's say I want to make a door down here and a door up here. Now you have these stairs leading up. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, what else can I add? I'm gonna keep just putting in, I'm gonna add another wall. Maybe there's a wall that connects to this. And I'm gonna add more turrets. Sometimes turrets don't have that curvy U-shaped. Sometimes they go with a more square look. So you can try and create a turret level wall where you go over, down, over, up, 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 over, until you get to the other side. So as you can see, I have 2 watchtowers. I have a very fancy tower here. I always like to put flags at the top of my towers. Maybe they're blowing in the wind. The wind is blowing this way. But let's keep building. I'm gonna start making another building. Actually, I'm gonna put another very tall tower here. This one's gonna go way up high. And again, I'm gonna give the top part a little bit more space. So I went out with 2 lines connected and then a rectangle. And you know what? I'm having a lot of fun with these turrets. So I'm gonna make the top of these towers turrets. And again, I'll show you that trick where you space out lines and then connect them downwards with a U. 2 more watchtowers. There's a lot of watchtowers in this castle. And then I'll put some oval windows. And one thing I love to do when I build castles, when I'm drawing, is imagine what is inside of this room. Because castles have so many different rooms. You can imagine maybe my dream castle would, of course, be that inside of one of these rooms is a lovely art studio where you could look out over the whole kingdom and it would be a beautiful place to paint a picture. All right, I'm gonna keep on building because castles can be have lots and lots of layers. So let's see, I'm gonna go, I think this is gonna be where the king and queen and the princess and the prince, this is where they live. So I'm gonna do, this is gonna be their little outdoor patio. Maybe that's where they have their royal dog goes out for playtime. And then I'm gonna make a really nice, I'm kind of running out of space here, as you can see. So I'm gonna have to make their roof a little bit shorter. This is their royal roof. A small rectangle, sorry, or a small triangle. Getting my shapes confused here. And then some nice big windows for the royal family. And here's, maybe up here is where the kids have their playroom. And they have 3 nice circle windows. And as you can see, my castle is getting more and more interesting. And I'm gonna make some stairs going up the sides in case they want to take the outdoor stairs. And I'm gonna add lots and lots of windows. I can add more and more and more. And then when you finally feel like your castle is as big and as tall as it could possibly be, then it's time to go back in and add the details. Where you think about, maybe this whole entire castle is made of bricks or stones, or maybe the door is made of wood. And I can use lines to create the illusion that it's made of wood. I can add even more turrets if I want. There's another wall of turrets here. Remember, the technique there is to go over, down, over, up, 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 until you get across. And then I think I told you at the beginning of the video, we're gonna put a moat around this castle so that no one can infiltrate the castle. They have to get across the moat. So a simple way to do that is to just create a curve that goes over across this way and then back towards the castle. But you have to do that twice. And then in my moat, maybe I'll put some crocodiles or some piranha. And then I'll make a path leading towards my castle. But of course, to get into the castle, someone has to let down this big door, otherwise no entry. So I hope you have fun with this. Remember, there's no wrong way to make a castle. And sometimes if your castle is really kind of squiggly and droopy, I like to imagine that it's actually a sandcastle. Maybe this is the coolest sandcastle in the entire world. So have fun, and I can't wait to see your castles. I would love to see pictures of them. I would love to see them in person. And enjoy. Thanks for watching, everybody.